So welcome to VCTV. Again, another day, another session, and so VCTV is VCTV is short for Venture Capital TV, where we connect investors like yourselves to startups. Because obviously we are in the crypto exchange business, we've got a lot of startups looking to raise funds through token sales, through private equity, through VC funding, angel funding, all sorts of funding, hedge funding as well. A lot of investment models have sprung up during the pandemic. So yeah, so the whole entire focus is going to be around investments, touching base on fintech and blockchain as a technology. And we're going to cross the sectors that you wish to discuss with our audience and share your insights and views with our audience today. So today, again, I have got a very East and West sort of mix-up panel. So before I introduce my speakers, let me just introduce myself. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the Regional Director of LATOKEN, and I'm based in Singapore. I host these shows Monday to Friday, and I'm the moderator of the panel as well for today. So today's topic is fintech and blockchain, as I said, and we have speakers from Malaysia, Canada, and the US. Also, today we have a surprise. We have somebody who's going to talk about his project. So basically, we have a startup going to pitch as well. So stay tuned for the rest of the episode as well. This is a slightly different. So, most of you are aware of the structure of the panel, but we have somebody who's just joined us for the very first time. That's Salim Ismail. Hi, Salim. Welcome to VCTV. How are you today?
Very well. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. What I usually do, I just go around asking for a round of introduction from all the speakers. Since everybody is sort of regularly speaking on VCTV, they know the format and everything else. I'd like to hear from you first because you've just, attending for the first time. Short intro about yourself, which company you represent, and what are you doing in this space?
Sure. So I'm running a very weird hybrid model. I'm actually from India originally, schooling in university in Canada, 10 years in Europe, 20 years in the US. So I'm quite confused. And I found myself as the head of innovation at Yahoo a while back, and found that when you try anything disruptive, the immune system in a company attacks you. And I went on to build out something called Singularity University, where I'm the founding CEO of that, and built it out for about 7-8 years with Peter Diamandis and Ray Kurzweil, and then joined the board of the X Prize Foundation, which gives large public prizes. And I wrote a book called Exponential Organizations on how do you scale organization structures as fast as you can scale technology. And so I've been building an ecosystem around that book, which has process frameworks to build and retrofit this model into big companies, and a nonprofit that does that in the public sector, and a community of consultants. It's now about 7,000 people around the world that we pull into these projects. So we have kind of nonprofit, for-profit frameworks, and then a very large community based around the book that I wrote. We created a couple of years ago a crypto token just to have a payment token in our world. And we've been using that as a venture capital fund also. So it's a very bizarre ecosystem we've found out about.
Oh, wow. That's quite an interesting sort of journey, I would say. When you said confused, I mean, don't worry. I mean, a lot of people are like that. So are you now a Canadian or still an Indian?
I'm Canadian. I have the overseas Indian thing, and I have actually a permanent residency in the UK, which is useless after Brexit. But there you go. But right now, I'm very happy to be in Canada. I happened to come up here just as Trump was getting elected, so my friends think I'm a genius.
Ouch. All right, thanks for that intro, Salim. And good to know that you're founding CEO of Singularity University, and we all know Singularity University for sure. Thank you, and welcome to VCTV. So next up, thank you. Next, I'd like to go William Du. Hi, William. Welcome back to VCTV. How are you? How are you doing?
Hi, Sonny. Hi, everyone. I'm good. Okay, I'm William Du from Engineers House. I'm based in KL. Okay, so we are a financial services company. We do corporate finance and investments. All right. For the last 3 months, we have involved in solar. Healthcare, we are raising fund for 3 hospitals. Someone is acquiring 3 hospitals, and we are doing vertical farming as well. Okay, so these are all new projects that we started during this after this COVID period. Okay, and we have a project in fintech where we successfully raised $500,000 US to start up 2 months ago, and now we are raising the next Series A. We target to raise it by Christmas this year, 3 to 5 million US, and they want to do a pre-IPO on the OTCQB, right? So that's what we plan for. Yeah, we are looking for opportunities, okay, and we are mainly focused in Southeast Asia at the moment. All right, yeah, thank you very much.
So yeah, I think your focus here is Southeast Asia, but I think you're sector agnostic. You invest in solar, healthcare, vertical farming, fintech, and whatnot. Thank you so much.
We are driven by our clients. Okay, so we support our clients and raise funds for all these projects.
Excellent, good to know. So next I'd like to go for Luis. Hi Luis, welcome back. Welcome back to VCTV. So you look as fresh as yesterday, as if we didn't finish the session yesterday and we just got up today.
That's I think I'm preserved. I don't know. Maybe this preservative is going on, but I don't even remember going to sleep. How's everyone doing?
Very
of
good.
course, we have the great Irina on the
Yes.
panel. She has a lot of input, and we're waiting, especially in this arena. She has a lot. Irina has a lot to put to add to this topic, which is great. Just to give you the skinny on myself, if you don't know already, I've been involved in finance for over a quarter century. Been involved in technology a little longer than that. We are involved in AI, blockchain, AR, VR, machine learning, neural networks, NLP, that type of arena. And yeah, on the topic of fintech, I have a lot to add, as you can imagine. So I'll just let you kind of coast on to the next, because I know Irina has to showcase right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Luis. And yeah, I think you rightly said preserved yourself, and you just literally there, and we just got up today. Thank you. Irina, over to you. Welcome back to VCTV. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you very much. My alarm, full disclosure, my alarm did not go off, and I just jumped off the bed looking like, oh my God, okay, it's still dark outside. And so I made it, but you know.
Great. Thank you for making it.
It's a pleasure to be back. I really love what you guys are doing, and I really love participating in VCTV. It is so important for us. It's important for us to share what we're doing, you know. And my name is Irina Litchfield, and many know me as a crypto superwoman. I'm founder of Blockchain Cube. It's a blockchain integration company. We specialize in financial technology, traditional systems with, with this innovation is kind of our specialty. And I'm also president of Lumeria, and Lumeria is where capital meets innovation. Our goal is to create truly global capital markets and bring back small market cap. Many people don't know about it, but small market cap is dying, and so we can have a whole discussion about what is going on in capital markets. So, but it's such a pleasure to be here. It's a great time for crypto industry, for blockchain industry, and for financial technology.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Irina, for that introduction. So finally, we're set with introductions. So I'd like to have some new set of questions for each of the panelists and speakers today because of the experience you have. Salim, I'd like to start with you. So firstly, what regions do you cover? What geography do you cover right now?
We're pretty much global. We have, what we did was we created, I should just describe we created 2 years ago a Bitcoin variant custom token for our community, because we have 6,000 people and in 100 countries, and you can't pay those people without some model like this. And so we did it initially for that reason. Also, We wanted to facilitate peer-to-peer transactions without us being in the middle. Then a startup came to us and said, hey, can I give you some equity to get access to your ecosystem? And so we gave them some crypto in exchange for equity. And we've done that 5 or 6 times, and all of a sudden found ourselves kind of by accident as running a venture capital fund with our crypto. So a startup uses the crypto on our ecosystem to help scale itself. Our ecosystem is very happy to help out because we all have a stake in the game, and the benefits all go back in. And so that's essentially, so we run global models for, we just funded, for example, an outfit called Ocean EXO, which is tracking the Mauritius oil spill and gathering all the satellite images, fishing boat logs, and tagging it to our blockchain. And so we fund projects where we think a major difference is being made in the world.
Wow. I think this is a very interesting concept. I have never spoken to somebody who is a venture capitalist in crypto fund, crypto asset. I mean, hedge funds, obviously, yes. Private institutional investors for sure. But interesting. And you recently obviously invested into this Mauritius-based oil project.
Right.
Was it during this crisis, and what made you?
Yeah, in fact, it got spurred by that. So with our community, we can spin up new ideas very quickly. Right. And the former Minister of Oceans turns out used my book to run his ministry. And so he came to me and said, do you have any developers in your ecosystem? And we said, go talk to our blockchain folks. And they went and talked to a lawyer and said, if we tag all their images and the satellite imagery to their blockchain, can we use it for legal reasons later? And he's found himself in the middle of this whole thing. So we threw it together very quickly and got it funded, and now it's up and running. And the idea is that we can now create a global ocean dashboard that every government in the world can use to track what's happening on its oceans and its shores in real time.
Wow, interesting. And what about the payment token? Are you still using it for remittances? Is it like?
Yeah, we use it to people put up ideas or pieces of work that in a marketplace. The website is openexo.com, and they put up work they want to get done, and people bid for the work, and we get it done that way. Again, it's a bit weird because the city of Medellin has copied our blockchain, and they have a local token for their innovation economy with an exchange rate with ours, and Chile is now doing the same. And so we found ourselves kind of an exchange as well as time goes by. So it's a very bizarre model, but it works. And the beauty, I think, of this whole world is you can have a lot of flexibility about how you apply these things, and they find their use case.
Right. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, very interesting for me at least. Thank you, Salim, for that insights. I'm going to come back to you later with more questions. Next, I'd like to go for William. Hi, William. Can you please share some recent investments that you just obviously touched upon a couple of investments that you've done. Any specific one you want to discuss today, and obviously give your like the process, the deal flow process, so that the startups are watching us can get some idea how to fundraise.
Okay, let's talk about a fintech deal that we are involved recently. So they started the idea early this year, and they approached us around April during the lockdown. So they are based in north of Malaysia, so about 300 kilometers from KL. Okay, so we were having a lot of Zoom calls over the few weeks, and we finally get together, and they actually raised their startup funds, or you can call seed funds, via equity crowdfunding. Okay, Malaysia is a bit unique. We have 9 approved equity crowdfunding platform. Okay, right, for companies or early stage companies, okay, to raise funds. So instead of going through an IPO, they have all this crowdfunding, and it's approved by our Security Commission, and therefore they can actually raise money from public. Okay, investor can invest as low as $100 US. Okay, and there's no upside, no limit. And they recently also, during the COVID lockdown, increased instead of around 1.6 million cap, now you can raise up to 10 million ringgit, which is about 2.5 million US. Okay, right. So, and another incentive given by our government recently for the last 6 months is for every dollar we raise, they'll match 50 cents up to 200,000 US. Okay, so we did that, and we raised $500,000 US, and this is a company where it's unique because they are doing robo advisory. Okay, so they want to make the investment accessible to the mass. Okay, so usually these kind of technologies are only available for high net worths. Okay, so now they want to move it to the mass. It's very common in the US, okay, or Europe, but it's like new in Malaysia. Okay, there's only two other.
Yeah,
Sorry?
is it B or B2C? What's the model?
Okay, we are at this moment, because they are not licensed, so we are doing B2B. Technically, we are, yeah, so that means we are providing the robo to financial institution, asset management company, or any high net worth that trade themselves. Okay, so our system can advise them or simulate what strategies they want. Okay, so we can create multiple synergies all by formula, so they can mix and match what investment they want to do. Okay, but let me share with you the fundraising part, because I think entrepreneurs like to hear from there. This is a total startup with zero revenue. Okay, and the entrepreneur himself is young. Okay, you will say he's ungroomed, unpolished. Okay, he actually engaged by another company to help him to learn to pitch, how to pitch. Okay, but we see significant improvement from day one, and he's the first show that we did in early May, he was a bit panicky and excited, but after 3 shows, he speaks like a Nasdaq CEO already. Okay, now he speaks with confidence. He pitched, and to our surprise, actually, we were thinking maybe we won't hit. We were targeting minimum of 1 million ringgit, and we did a show, and he was so impressive. The following 5 days, we actually raised 1 million ringgit, so we increased our fundraise to 2 million actually. In ringgit, so it's about $500,000 US. Okay, and there's a lot of follow-up, and because we have reached out to quite a wide audience, because everybody is locked down, so everybody tuned in to watch the virtual shows and the virtual webinars, and that's why we are planning to do, the moment the fund reach our account after the crowdfunding exercise. Now we are planning for the next Series A. We are planning for 3 million US to 5 million US now. Okay, and a lot of a lot of people say, how can you raise $500,000, or just raise $500,000 and you want to proceed to the next 3 to 5? And so this is what I'm trying to tell the audience is, fundraising is a non-stop exercise. Okay, you look at all the unicorns, they never stop fundraising. So fundraising is a full-time job for CEOs and CFO. Right? Other than closing deals and do the business, you need to fundraise, because if you don't catch up nowadays, you can't compete, right? So you need a lot of funding and war chest to move fast, right? You look at all the unicorns, all right? They make a phone call, well, they make another $500 million, 1 billion investment into them, right? So how do you compete with such a player? Yeah, although we are small, but then we also want to keep on that fundraising pace. Right, so that we run out of money.
Thank you, William, for sharing those insights. Very valuable for those startups and founders who are looking to raise, not only seed money but further series money as well. So never give up hope and keep on fundraising. Keep on developing on your product. Okay, thank you, William. I'm gonna come back to you with some other questions as well. Next, I have Irina. Hi, Irina. Welcome back. This is your strength, like the fintech and the blockchain. And obviously, we've spoken about non-profits and regenerative. I just very fresh in my head, farming. Anything else that you would like to add on today or extend on what we discussed yesterday?
Yes, this topic is definitely dear to my heart, though I do love others as well. I think one of the most important things that we want to keep in mind when we think about blockchain application is that it's a single source of truth technology. So one of the bigger pushes that we're needing right now to see for the industry, for the ecosystem, is the creation of truly decentralized platforms. Because for the most part, the platforms that we have, the cryptocurrencies that we have, are centralized. And now we are seeing big push of governments, central banks on, using cryptocurrency. I don't know if you guys saw the news or not, but I believe Thailand just issued $1.6 billion of bonds on IBM blockchain.
Wow.
So it's huge what is happening right now in the world, and adoption of blockchain technology by centralized entities, by governments. IBM. It's a huge news for IBM, and it's a huge news for also for the central bank as well. But we need to make sure that we keep the balance, right? Because one of the negative things that happens is that it takes away the privacy, right? So centralized cryptocurrency takes away consumers' privacy, unlike a dollar, right? Like the paper money. So we must concentrate on supporting truly decentralized platforms, and we must differentiate and understand. Those who are in industry have to know what the difference is and not be confused. And so to me, that's kind of the biggest flag that I like to be holding on to through the next proposed growth cycle. We are in a third post-halvening, and third post-halvening to me, I call it an era of integration. So we are seeing 2.0 coming up, and 2.0 are the tokens or cryptocurrencies that came through post-ICO, and they've learned a lot. Most of them did not survive, but those that did survive, they're coming up with applications, models, not just hypothetical. I'm going to come in and save the world, and we're going to, make shipping be better or whatever it is. But really, truly having applications in the business. And of course, the financial technology. Financial technology finally, after so many years of pushing forward the boundaries, of pushing forward the education of what it means, of what we can do with this, we're finally seeing application for that. And so to me, the integration of, so first of all, there's the decentralization, and that's very important. So if you can get involved and support any decentralized, truly decentralized currencies, that is something that is a key. And then also on the other hand, there is permissioned and permissionless blockchains. And if you're looking at application of financial technology with traditional finance, right? So innovation of traditional finance, it is more of a permission blockchains that are going to be applied. And that is really, really also important to understand for your investments, because you're not going to be able to apply permissionless into centralized systems. For now, it does not work. Once I think that next post-halvening, we might see some interesting actually aspects of what we learned from DeFi be applied into traditional finance, but for now, it's a little bit too early.
Yeah, so great. You touched upon some cutting edge technologies, decentralized currencies, permission and permissionless technology, and obviously DeFi, which is the hot topic in the crypto world right now. So investors are actually looking to look at good projects in this area. So thank you for that insights, Irina. Next, I have, last but not least, Louis. Please share your insights on the topic.
Normally I talk about, talking about fintech, there's a lot of things going on there. Irina hit a lot of things on the head with the rise of neobanks and things of that nature. You're going to have more look, we live in a digital world right now, so you can have more of that happening. Traditional banks going into more digital, the brick and mortar type of situation, little by little, is going to be something different. They can't lose the customer service part, but there'll be something going on there. And normally I don't talk about the things that we're doing, but I figured, everyone's talking about it, so I'll just put something in there. FGA Partners, we're involved in technology. Okay. And one of our main investments, where we invested substantial funds into to the tune of 8 figures is Megahoot, and that is a technology company that has multiple prongs, multiple things going on at the same time. We have a video conferencing platform, which is even more enhanced than what we're on right now. Okay, we have an artificial intelligence arm, which is involved in creating platforms such as we have the social distance monitor, and we have other platforms with facial recognition, neural networks, natural language processing, and other things happening. And we also have a blockchain-enabled document distribution, also e-signature platform, which is more enhanced than what you have out there. It has, a lot of things going on for security reasons. Lawyers love it because they can track a document from the time it's uploaded to the time it's signed and downloaded and re-uploaded and everything else. So they can track the whole gambit of things. And we're involved in, again, doing a lot of different things in that arena. And what we do as far as investments, we look at, startups, we look at other companies that can integrate into this ecosystem. Right. Okay. And by connecting with them, it gives them something of value, gives us something of value as well, because then the possibility of plugging into it is there. And we utilize blockchain along our platforms, and we do have an internal digital asset, cryptocurrency, that's involved within the ecosystem. So we have a lot of things going on. Normally, I don't speak about this, but I figured, you know what? I know Irina wanted to hear this today, so I had to let her know. And the thing is, with the company, we're on track by the end of 2021 to probably be in the vicinity of about 100 million in revenue. So we're feeling good about that.
Wow, yeah. Luis, that's a lot of information in just one panel.
I tried to get it out there.
I've been speaking with you for last a week and more than that, but never heard about blockchain crypto. But good to share.
That's why my ears are ringing. Okay, I got you.
Finally, the secret has been revealed on the show. Thank you, Luis, for that. Awesome. That's a great roadmap to have. Thank you so much for that. So, fintech and blockchain are technologies. We know that. They can cut across many industries, many sectors. Some of them are consumer, food, retail, manufacturing, transportation, industrials, health, science, energy, environment, society, culture, impact, investments that we spoke yesterday. So I'm going to ask Salim, which sectors, what's happening? What are the trends happening in with regards to fintech and blockchain, and what are the kind of investment products emerging in the time of pandemic?
I think the traditional fiat currencies had a bit of a bubble over the last 500 years or so, and we've not had real innovation. And now we have this explosion of innovation happening, which is incredibly powerful. I think what happens next is if we think about what's the power that comes from digitizing and having programmable money, essentially, will unleash a huge amount. And I think the huge area is now to then take asset classes one by one and digitize them onto a blockchain type structure. You look at what Vinay is doing at Materium and taking physical assets and tagging them with a digital passport. I think that's where the world starts to go very powerfully over the next year or two. We looked at ShareIt out of Israel, where they give you you log all your stuff at home, and they give you crypto worth that amount of money at home, which you can then trade back and forth. They have 400 routes in Israel trading goods back and forth on this completely novel platform of asset-backed, micro asset-backed environment. So I think there's going to be this Cambrian explosion of innovation coming out. In Tumelo Ramaphosa in South Africa is taking rare animals and doing asset-backed block crypto stuff on that with rare bisons and gazelles and all sorts of stuff. And so we're going to see this incredible explosion and democratization of capability. So that's, I think, the most exciting part.
Yeah, I just want to ask you one question. Very interesting, asset backed. Is it tokenization? Are you talking about? Is it tokenizing?
It is, but it's tokenizing and liberating specific asset classes away from the traditional models, right? The traditional models are too slow moving and have too much centralized oversight. The big challenge I see for most fintech is obviously the regulatory. And so what we've been doing is working on tool sets to break the regulatory. So we can go into a regulatory environment and upturn it using a process framework, which we've open sourced because it needs to be available around the world. And so we work with governments, break through old thinking, and then that allows new ideas to flourish. I think that layer of, we've built up a dozen or so layers of regulatory governing financial services, and none of it works, and it doesn't allow innovation in this new model. And so we need to strip all that away, and that's going to take time. Right now, the challenge is governments are trying to take old regulatory regimes and apply it to this thing, and it just doesn't work.
Right. Thank you for sharing that regulation piece at the end. I think whoever are listening from representing government, I mean, I don't have much to say, but I think Salim has nailed it down. Thank you so much, Salim, for that. William, I'd like to know, what are the investment products, sort of emerging because of the pandemic in fintech space? You can cut across any sectors that you've invested or going to invest in because you're sector agnostic.
Yeah, as I mentioned just now, this morning we had the chat on blockchain. Okay, so one of the initiative that we in Malaysia, there's an offshore place called Labuan. Okay, so Labuan Offshore Center has been very proactive in the crypto and also the blockchain development. Okay, so I think around last year, the second half, or I think third quarter or fourth quarter last year, they actually pushed it out. Okay, that means they actually announced that they're allowing crypto exchange. Okay, they're actually certifying or giving out license. Okay, so one of the parties that we met today, they have Labuan Investment Bank. Okay, so that investment bank is just created recently or set up recently. Okay, and they are only they focus solely on crypto and blockchain assets. Okay,
right.
So they are in the process to actually raise a 250 million US of fund. Okay, backed by double the assets. Okay, so there's a lot of asset in Malaysia, for example, hotel assets or retail assets. Okay, so they found a sponsor who are willing to actually swap their real estate into the fund, and therefore creating a crypto fund, or you can say blockchain fund, so that they can invest back to the property to enhance the property. So they're going to put in, of course, IoT, and they want to make the whole retail or the property all cashless. Okay, and very interesting is before COVID, Malaysians are still very primitive. We tend to use a credit card, and we usually use PIN. So you press a 6-digit PIN on the terminal, right?
Yeah.
But because of COVID, nobody wants to touch anything anymore, right? So it's all cashless now. Okay, so all credit card terminal now are equipped with barcode scanner. Okay, and there's probably 8 or 9 options of different e-wallet that I can use. Okay, so if you look at my phone, I have probably 7 different wallets. Okay, and they make it even simpler. I can even transfer credits into my wallet via using my company bank account. So they have make it very seamless. So and I can send money to my wife or my children just by tapping in the phone number. Okay, so I think because of this COVID, the Malaysian society has accepted. All right, so now just this month, 3 shopping malls are introducing cashless parking system. That means there's no more ticket, there's no more machine for you to pay.
Scan.
Yes,
Scan
you scan. When you come in, you either use we have a touch and go card, which is a RFID card, or you use your credit card. right? You just wave at it, and that's it. You enter the shopping mall. Okay, so I think the society has accept cashless payment. So now the fintech industry in Malaysia is very hot. Everybody is coming out with new ideas. Okay, how to capture this market. I met another friend the other day. They are trying to see how to make a bridge between the crypto and the fiat. That means if you have cryptocurrency, of course, usually they look at the top 10 currency,
Yeah.
and they want to convince the fiat, the world to accept it. Okay, so that project that I mentioned just now, the retail and the hotel, they will start to accept maybe up to 10 currency, 10 cryptocurrency for a start, and they want to develop that over time. Yeah.
Wow, William, you've covered like everything possibly you could in fintech, blockchain, crypto, lot
It's
of.
only in Malaysia because I'm only familiar in Malaysia scenario. Right?
I mean, it can be Malaysia, it can be Singapore, it can be Southeast Asia, but when innovation starts at one place, it's definitely going to go viral other places as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
contagious, right? I mean, COVID-19 has proven that these innovations couldn't have happened, if we didn't have COVID. So we have to thank COVID, first.
Exactly. If not COVID, we wouldn't have a Zoom webinar like this, right? We're probably attending face to face on a stage.
Yeah, and probably I wouldn't see Arena and Luis every day, almost every day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, COVID. I have to literally thank you. Thanks, William, for that. Obviously, sharing such valuable information. What's happening in the space? A lot of innovation happening in the space, as per you in Malaysia. I'm sure it's gonna happen. It's happening in Southeast Asia as well. Thanks for that. Next, I have Arena. Arena, you want to touch upon any particular sector and talk about what's happening, what new products are emerging in the States?
Yes. Well, so I think that one thing that I want to make sure that we clear here and we do talk about,
yeah,
though we love the industry, is the negative side of the industry. As we are starting to see the growth cycle slowly, very, very slowly. We're nowhere near the hype yet, but it's starting to catch up. It's starting to touch up. We need to make sure that we're being very, very careful. So in US, we're seeing people really going in and playing with DeFi and getting burned really, really hard. So I would say stay away from it unless you really, really understand what you are doing. It really is an advanced system, and look at it as gambling, right? So if you have problems with gambling, don't touch it. It will burn you. If you have disposable income and you want to go and play, go play. But in any means, do not follow the hype that is there with, I just became wealthiest person in the world or whatever, and so you shall do that. And it is something that we must keep an eye out on for as we move forward through the growth cycle, because it will get expedited. And in the end of the day, it hurts our industry. And as an investor, if you're new to the industry, make sure that you look at the advisors and actually connect with advisors. Make sure you check on because there's a lot of advisors too. Make sure you check in with the projects that those advisors have assisted to, right, in the past. So you can actually make the references. So make extra references. Don't be afraid to verify and re-verify. Just because somebody has somebody's picture on the website, do not trust it, okay? Do not trust it. Do not trust people that are going to be messaging you, because phishing is still phishing is the phishing, and in the crypto world, it's extremely popular, and people steal identity to put people's faces, advisors' faces on, and actually founders' faces on the projects just to collect the money. So be very careful, and remember the difference between, again, I always come back to it, until industry really truly understands what permissioned and permissionless is. We must understand that you need to understand that if again, if it's a solution for traditional finance, and they are using, or they're building, especially permissionless, permissionless blockchain, just know that it's an amazing goal to have, but remember about your money. You need to be able to have returns. Probably that's not going to work out, or if it works out, it's going to take way too long. So understand applicability. Understand that for some things you can use permissionless, and there are benefits of permissionless. For some you can use permission, and then also know too that there's a hybrids as well, right? We can use anchoring to be able to make sure that we verify into public blockchain, but without all of that cost, right? So we still can be on permission blockchain, and we can anchor into a permissionless blockchain for the reason verification, because remember, it's all about single source of truth and immutable information, and that can only be done on a decentralized platform. You can change the information on private blockchain. You can override the ledger, and that is very, very important to keep in mind, because everybody, well, not everybody, most of people assume, and even people that invest in projects, right? People that maybe came through 17, 18, 19, there's not that understanding. So make sure you're clear. I personally love blockchain for integration with traditional finance. I believe that while we think that we're going to make this huge difference in taking away power from centralized entities, I think that the biggest actually difference we're going to see in the world is through application into traditional capital markets. Just because, okay, so there's over 30 steps of processes of verifying when you take a security and you sell a security, right? So when I want to sell my security, I'm a seller and there is a buyer, there's over 30 verifying steps, right? Usually for each of those steps, there's an organization, and steps are simple. Am I who I say I am? Do I have the funds that I say I have? Do I actually have it's all verifications, and these are very expensive and they slow down the process. So if we take blockchain, if we take a single source of truth application and we apply to traditional finance, we apply to transfer of securities in capital markets, we expedite the transfer, okay? We make it possible, it's faster, we can talk forever about it. And the beauty of it is that it's happening all over the world. And in next 6 months, we're going to see very interesting announcements coming out from many different countries, from many different securities announcing their tokenized securities exchanges. We are moving. It's been something that people don't think it works, but it is happening. It's just something that's happening behind the closed doors. And most importantly, it's happening within the proper regulatory infrastructure, because so far all we've seen, and I'm not going to be naming the names, but all those who've been trying to build securities exchanges, they have a workaround. So they do not have proper licensing, okay, to be able to do what needs to be done. So they kind of go around, and attorneys help them to say, well, if you get this and you get this and you get this and you get this, we can wrap it into this delicious burrito, right? Or sushi roll, or whatever you call it. Not making reference to DeFi, guys, at all, though just came to my mind. And then we can kind of make it work, and then we can work with SEC to make sure that whatever. But in the end of the day, it just does not work, because it does not give you a proper direct pathway. And so we are going to see interesting announcements within the proper licensing.
Wow. I think, Irina, you've just covered so many topics. I have a lot of information now to share. So Irina has covered the benefits of the blockchain technology, the decentralized nature of the blockchain technology, distributed ledger, single source of truth, and some of the risk factors that the investor should take into account before investing, and some kind of checks they have to make before investing into DeFi or any blockchain-based project, for that matter, fintech as well. That's that. Then obviously we covered digital securities and security exchanges, and obviously we know security tokens, STOs. I mean, I have been a part of that ecosystem myself, so I know the market had a very roller coaster ride, but with like proper licensing and proper regulations, that market is going to see a lot of growth in the next 6 months, as highlighted by Irina. Thank you so much, Irina, for those insights. Now smoothly and swiftly move to next speaker, Luis.
Yeah, look, Irina she's always hitting good points on blockchain. I don't want to go in and go too much into that, but I do think that blockchain is going to be a big part of how the future of financial industry is going to be. Okay, with the implementation, integration of 5G, everything is going to be moving at a rapid pace. We go from a 2-lane street to a 10-lane highway. Everything is going to be moving very quickly. Chamath of Social Capital, it's just to touch on blockchain, he was even tossing around the idea of making Bitcoin a publicly traded company or incorporating into that, which if he wanted to do that, he has the ability to do something like that, which is interesting. Now, will something like that come to pass? I don't know, but it does make you think of the possibilities. Okay, the rise of neobanks, I mentioned that before. See, these neobanks, they don't have physical locations, so everything's online. So you're doing everything mobile on your computer, and that's how it works. And the rise of that is the rise of hacking, the rise of all these bad actors coming forward. So cybersecurity, security in general, blockchain, all this stuff is going to be very important as we move forward. And if this is not tackled now, is going to be a big problem later. You can't go, or you can go and try to fix something later, but it's easier if you integrate it now so your system gets stronger as time goes on. And so this is what banks are looking to do. Right now in the United States, you have banks that are utilizing digital transfers, which have their peer-to-peer. They're using Zelle. They're using Venmo. They're using a few others that it just makes it easy for someone to send $1 to someone else without getting a fee attached to it, because it's peer-to-peer, and it goes right into your bank account. Micro investing is becoming very popular. Okay, globally. You have Robinhood that allows someone that maybe they have $50 in their account, in their bank account. They can take $10 and invest in Apple. Believe it or not, they have the ability to do micro investing, and this is good for the next generation, so they can get involved in this cycle of learning how to invest and learning how to do this stuff. And I think it's important to educate the younger generation, that are looking to get into investing, so they're not going in there. Like, I know there was an instance where someone had, because the methodology of how micro investing works has to be massaged, because they're lending or allowing small investors to go make these investments, but they're lending them the money to do so. Okay, and there was an instance where someone, they lost, I think, $50,000, $100,000 wasn't their money, and I believe that the person, he wound up committing suicide. But this is the stuff that the industry has to be very aware of. It's not just about making money; it's about doing it the right way, so you have sustainability. We talk about that a lot, sustainability. So we need to have the sustainability as far as the financial markets are concerned, and I think that with the rise of SPACs, and for those that don't know what SPACs are, the special purpose acquisition companies, and you have private equity firms, you have investors like that. They wind up they create a blank check company, raise a lot of capital. There's no investment lined up. Then they go and find the investment. They do a pseudo reverse merger. The difference is when you go and you do a reverse merger on the OTCQB, there's a possibility reverse merging into a dirty shell. Okay, and that brings a lot of legal issues. A SPAC is clean as anything because that's how it's made, and you hope that the leaders of the whoever's running the fund has the ability to help the company grow, and that's the hope. It's not going to work in every case, but you're going to see more of that opening up the lines for different industries and fintech and the incorporation of blockchain. A lot of different things are going to happen. You're going to see this more and more. It's been around for a while, but you're going to see more of that now going into 21 than you've ever seen before. So, but yeah, fintech, for the entrepreneurs that are involved in that, be innovative. Security, 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 and guess what? Security, privacy. You have to keep that at the forefront.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Again, fantastic insights and a lot of innovation. All I can see, a lot of innovation in technology space, in neobanking, obviously with digital banking, digital only banking with no physical presence. We have obviously threat to security, and cybersecurity comes into play. And micro investing is very interesting. As little as $10, the younger generation can be investing. I mean, they can be investors. That's a fantastic product, obviously coming out in this pandemic. And obviously, we have all realized with this pandemic, sustainability is the key. We have to focus on making all this fancy, I mean, our technology, sustainable to face another pandemic of this sort and scale. And lastly, SPACs is something new for me. Good to know something new. Again, as I say, I learn every day with VCTV, and today I learned SPACs. Thank you so much, Louis, for that. Thank you. So we just a few more minutes into finishing the show. Salim, any questions for any of the speakers, or William? Please feel free to ask your co-speakers any burning question that you have, because obviously everybody is very diverse in the kind of investments they do. So any questions from you, Salim?
Yeah, I've got one. I mean, one of the key areas that I see for opportunity with blockchain and fintech in general is, a huge amount of government work is authenticating and ratifying, right? Irina, you said there's 30 steps to get from A to B. There's a huge amount of potential investment, but government services typically don't like to be disintermediated. Are you seeing startups that are going after that decentralization or digitization or blockchain enablement of government services?
Good question.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I think it's a really big misconception about the governments. The governments are now leading actually the application of blockchain technology into securities and optimization of securities, because they need to stay competitive. And it is kind of their goal is to stay competitive. An interesting point, we were talking about the idea of how do you give entity to the decentralized network, right? Because really nobody owns it. And so interestingly, Malta, 2 years ago, and they still are trying to figure out, okay, how do we empower decentralized networks to be born, and how do we give them ability to do it? And so is there a way to create an entity that is actually decentralized entity, that basically a business that it's owned without any person attached to it? No, we have not been able to come up with the answers yet, but it is on the minds of the regulators. More than ever, countries need to stay competitive. And as a side note, because of what we're living through in the last year, there is an interesting opportunity that opened up for governments to be able to come in and, as you say, steal the ball from US, okay, and create kind of a new financial center of the world. And that is being done through application, through pushing forward to the regulation, through seeing how it's going to work through application of blockchain technology. And it's happening in several countries. As I said, we'll see huge announcements, and it's possible that as we think right now, the world that we are living through is changing so fast. It is possible that the adoption of this will make this seem like nothing burger, right? Comparing to a dramatic change. So, but we're seeing a lot of good decentralized networks coming up. A lot of people that have been in the industry for a while are spending a lot of time seeing how do we do it. How do we make sure that kind of the legacy of Bitcoin continues growing and adopting, because it's kind of that. Obviously, there's also Digibytes, so Digibytes is truly decentralized network. They've been around for a while. Again, also there's challenges associated with the decentralized networks. Bitcoin has its own system, right? Digibyte, for example, as the industry was growing through the last cycle, they were growing as well, but not as much, and because they don't have a marketing budget, right? So decentralized network does not have ability to pump as you would, right? So, and during growth cycle, I mean, every business is pumping. It's just what business is supposed to do. You're supposed to pump, which means, which is the dumping part is a little bit. So it increased the interest of the people, investors and consumers, whatever of the project, and then eventually get liquidity is totally normal, and it's mobile, and it just needs to be done in a regulated ways. But interestingly, we can now start thinking about what we've learned from in the history of what we've been seeing. Before we thought, okay, self-regulation is going to work. So we had like this group of people, and we were driven in the crypto space and loved Bitcoin because we knew if traction, we trusted that if traction will come in, if enough people all over the world will get their attention into crypto, the self-regulation will thrive. And we had our dreams mudded, okay? Because that did not happen, as you guys know. ICO just ran people over. Nobody cared about anything. The biggest answer people would tell me, oh, don't worry about things. Just help me raise money. I know how to manage money. There's always, oh, don't you worry. Just get me to the money was a big thing. And so, however, the good thing for decentralized networks now that are coming up, we're now seeing, okay, well, we do need to make sure that we create competitive networks, right? Competitive decentralized networks. So how do we do that? So through smart contract, we actually might need to design and deploy some kind of marketing strategy. In the governance, we must have this competitive, again, marketing and PR. How do we do that to where we actually dedicate a certain set of funding to that, because it needs to be competitive. There's all these ideas. It's all new. We don't know how to do it. And that's the truth, guys. And look, Bitcoin is not really decentralized. If Satoshi popped up right now and decided to push the button on us, we'd be, that's the truth of the matter. The reason, but because Satoshi is not, or whatever, I don't know. Either Satoshi is not here, or right, or her, we don't know, or them, right, or them. It could be a group of people as well, right? So the thing about it is that the truly decentralized networks are rare, and there is a big push that's happening on that. And there are collectives that are working on that, basically people spending time on, and really truly brainstorming. Because again, the governance is not simple. How do we set up? If you sit down and think about governance and you want to write it into immutable ledger where it's forever going to be deployed that way, it's a scary thing, guys, right? How do we deal with it? How do we know what's a good governance? How do we understand it? So we do need to make sure that then the governance is something that can be, you know, it's just a whole soup, but it is happening. We're seeing a lot of it happening here in US. A lot of technologists are dedicating their time to it. A lot of wealthy people actually, and maybe people that are behind the funds, right? Not the funds themselves, not the funds, the entity that, you know, has fiduciary responsibility to LPs and all that, but the kind of people that are running the funds on their own with their own money. They are deploying, they're looking at it, they're looking, how do we create this new opportunities in the decentralization to, you know, to give life, and then also to share opportunities, because we do believe that that the big growth, and there are a lot of opportunities available for people all over the world through that. We need to compete with the central banks. It's 100%.
Great. Salim, I think nobody else would have explained you this much. I hope it's covered all your questions. I mean, covered like more than what you were expecting, right?
Tons.
Excellent. Thank you, Rina, for that. So I just want to know quickly, closing remarks. Salim, I'd like to start with you because you're like for the first time, and we would like to have you more because I think I haven't heard more from you today. So I'd love to hear more from you on our upcoming panels. So what are your closing remarks for the today panel, FinTech Blockchain, and your feedback about VCTV?
So fascinating discussion, and I think this is a kind of a program. This is a domain that's changing so fast that you almost need to have a regular weekly segment like this just to keep up with what's happening. And I think what's very powerful listening to the others is they all have their hands in many, many different aspects of this. So the collective aggregate view is very powerful. Thrilled to be here and happy to come back again sometime.
Great. So what do you think about the VCTV? I mean, what value has it added to you today, personally?
You know, it's good to get a sense of what are cutting edge folks looking at and what are they seeing. You don't often get that perspective across more than, say, one person at a time. So it's great to get that feedback. So it was great to be here.
Excellent. And I hope I can have you one of my panels again. Thank you so much, Salim, for that. William, what's your closing remarks for the FinTech Blockchain panel and your thoughts and feedback about the VCTV?
Yep, I think for the big picture, yep, we would like to see more investors investing in this space, okay, because there's a lot of new initiatives and innovation. And as for VCTV, it's always a pleasure to join because I always learn a lot of new things from all the panels, okay, and of course also learn from what's happening from other parts of the world, okay. Right. So it's always a steep learning curve for me whenever I join a VCTV program. Right? Thank you.
Excellent, steep learning curve. Like that. Thank you so much. I'm learning every day as well, William, just like you. Thanks for those feedback. Really appreciate it. Rina, I mean, I don't know if I should ask this question, but still I would ask this question. What's your feedback about VCTV?
Feedback, yes. Well, I love VCTV. It really is great. It allows us to connect, to share, to learn. It's amazing how much I learn every single time, and keep pushing that inside, right? We keep sharing this. What really, this was only available for the most part during the travels, you know, and VIP rooms, you know, in all the private gatherings, the invite only, which I love and I miss dearly, just to make sure. But, you know, there is something to be said about it. At first, I didn't really think that these virtual things are going to work at all. And the reality is I'm loving this because we can have this. We can have this 3 times. So today I'm speaking on VCTV 3 times in 3 different panels. And it's my dog over there with my daughter making noise. And then I still can have a super productive day. So I don't have to sacrifice my whole day in order to be able to know what is really going on in the world, in order to be able to share and to be able to learn. And we are here, and it's just amazing. And I love it. And for the world, just make sure you're careful. Crypto can be dangerous. And to remember too is that it takes time. Just because regulators are not coming right now to the innovations, it's time. We're still seeing SEC coming and announcing. Just only a couple days ago, we had an announcement for something that happened 3 years ago. So remember, regulators are slow and thorough. Okay. And then remember too is that as you deploying money, do look at the investor, do look at the basically investors, make sure that the project has a leading fund that has experience in deploying into crypto projects. That's kind of your guiding light if you're brand new. And then look at the advisors, see if you can make phone call. But obviously, don't ask for phone call if you're just learning, because make it to where if you're really considering investing in the project, ask to be connected with the advisors and see what kind of a experience they have, and be extra careful. It's an amazing technology, but be very, very careful.
Right. Great. Thank you, Irina. The best point is that I remember these kind of close-knit investor discussions where investor dinners were invite only. And how much disheartened and disappointed I would be for not being able to attend them, because I would be not a part of the fundraising process. But as you rightly said, anybody can watch very, very deep insights from you, from Louis, from William, Salim, all over the world because of VCTV. Thank you so much for adding that point besides regulations. Yes, thank you. Louis, your feedback.
Okay, well, my feedback is first. I think Irene, I think we need to have a dog day, a dog show, and bring our little dogs and just have it and let them bark away because they have a lot to say too. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't care if it's fintech, manufacturing technology, real estate technology, construction technology, whatever it is. At the core of everything is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and for the entrepreneurs that are involved in this space. Be innovative. Think about how you're going to change the future. Don't mimic what's around you. Do something different. Be fearless. Go and try to solve a problem. Come up with a solution for a problem that may integrate into something else. And you want to be able to collaborate with other larger players in the space, especially if you're dealing with government level deals, if that's where your business is focused towards, because it's hard to get in the door. So if you connect with a larger company that's already connected with the government, then you can actually do some stuff. So this is all important thing. And security. I say it all the time. Privacy and security, that is paramount. Okay, but AI, machine learning, machine learning is a part of AI, but that is going to be what is going to be the driving force with a lot of industries as we move forward. Okay, so again, VCTV, great platform. You bring a cornucopia of people to the table, and it's education. It's an educational platform for entrepreneurs, investors, people that are viewing, and you guys that are viewing, just keep viewing because you're going to learn a lot more. And you just get me talking, and you're going to learn a lot more. I'll just spit stuff out at you, and you want this. You want this from people that have been there. Okay, and as with this panel, everyone gave their input, and I'm sure that you're going to get a lot of great feedback from the great panel. And you always have a great panel, Sonny. So I look forward, and that this is why I come on here to be a part of this, to help educate as many people as possible. That's our obligation. That's our obligation. If you have knowledge, to share it. That's our obligation. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Louis. I really appreciate your kind words. Obviously, they're real as well. I mean, obviously, so much information, so much knowledge. Where do you get these from otherwise, in a panel? And Louis has just rightly mentioned, I mean, please, startups and founders, keep watching VCTV, because someday you might be just watching and realize, oh, this is the solution to my problem, and you get to meet Louis, Irina, Salim, William right away through our platform at www.latoken.com/profiles. So their profiles are up on our website. please reach out to Carol, Maria, and set up an appointment with them to share your ideas, to pitch your ideas. Keep pitching, keep pitching. My 10 cents, 2 cents would be like, don't stop speaking, don't stop pitching, don't stop connecting, don't stop networking. I mean, you might not get, as Luis always says, you might not raise funds, but what you get out of is so much of knowledge, so much of connections, and you never know, these connections never go waste, right? Right, Luis, your words. Thank you so much for your time, all of you. Malaysia, it's going to be late for us here. And Irina, you're starting your day. I think it's okay, bright light now, I can see. It's bright, it was dark. So you're starting a day, all the best. Salim, welcome again to VCTV, and I'd like to see you more and hear more from you. And Luis, please don't stop coming. Yeah, I just want to be like in the same, mode with you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much again. And please stay safe. Let's all stay connected and see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Take care, folks.